everyone, and welcome to Tips and Tricks Thursday. So today we're going to be talking about goals and goal setting. So usually people like to set goals or resolutions for themselves at the beginning of the year, beginning of the week, beginning of the month. It depends on the person. So we're at the end of January now, and I don't know about you guys, but it's been a little tough to try to figure out goals, both long-term and short-term, because we're living in a pretty crazy time. During this pandemic, there's lots of unknowns in the world. We're not really sure what next week is going to look like. Sometimes we don't even know what tomorrow is going to look like. I know a lot of students are still getting taught virtually. Mine are. And a lot of teachers are still teaching virtually. Some people want to travel, but they're not really sure if they can. So there's lots of unknowns. So setting fun, long-term goals right now seems a little difficult. And even sometimes setting short-term goals can be a little difficult because we are sort of being confined as to things that we can do. Going out is a little tough depending on where you are, lockdowns, things like that. So I don't know. It's been a little tough for me to try to figure out how to make some goals. But I did want to talk about it because even though it feels like it's really, really hard, it still shouldn't be something we don't do just because it's hard, right? Even though there's a whole bunch of unknowns out there, it's still a good idea to make goals, because if you don't really have something you're looking forward to, things don't really feel that fun. So that's why I wanted to talk a little bit about goal setting and what goals are today. So what is a goal? So a goal is something that you strive to do. Usually goals are something you can complete in a short amount of time, or they're things that may take a little bit longer. So for example, a short-term goal might be something like finishing reading a 300-page book. So if you, depending on how quick you are of a reader, you might take you a few days to do this, it might take you a few weeks, but this is still a short-term goal because it doesn't have a lot of steps. All you need to do in order to achieve the goal is to read your book. And all you got to do is make sure you carve out the time in order to do so. So that's a short-term goal. A long-term goal, on the other hand, is may have a lot of steps, and it's something that you may need to start doing small things now in order for it to really, really get to the point where you want to get it later. For the best example I can have for kids is thinking about what you want to be when you grow up. Careers. So maybe when you grow up you want to be an electrician. So even though you can't go out at 11 years old and get a job as an electrician right now, you can start sort of the process now. You can start reading up on what the job is like, what you do on the job. You can do research. You can talk to people that are within that job. You can ask if you can shadow somebody. Now that might be a little hard right now, pandemic and all that. But you can still, ask if you can see what they do. Whether it's watching videos on YouTube of people doing these jobs, or even, as I said, once it's safe, being able to shadow people so you can actually see what the job is like in action. These are all little things that you can do right now. And then if you do those things now, then you can realize whether or not this is a goal you want to try to go towards. So the cool thing about doing all this stuff now is that when you eventually get to the point where you can start going to school, getting trained in order to actually fall into these jobs, because you already have a little bit of knowledge, and then you just jump right in. Now, if you start doing all this research and then you realize, this may actually not be something that I want to do, that's perfect, that's fine. You don't need to, goals can change. They should be fluid. Really good goals should change with how you're feeling, what you're doing, and really just reflect you and your passions. So if all of a sudden your passion of electricity, I can talk today, electricity goes away, and all of a sudden you are interested in flowers and gardening and trees, then maybe that is a thing you can jump into. So that's the really cool thing about thinking about careers and stuff when you're young, is you can research and try out a whole bunch of different things before you commit to one thing or the other. Okay, so talking about those goals again, so let's say you do decide to change your goal. You should never beat yourself up over not achieving a goal or changing a goal. Because if this is something you really, really want, you should always try to keep working towards it. So even if you have to adjust some things here or there, you should still be able to do that. So how do you set goals? This is really easy. Just think of something you want to do and then go do it. Follow your passions, follow your heart. Read that big book that no one thinks you can read. Take those acting classes even though you're shy. You can do whatever you set your mind to. Be good to yourself and know that you are awesome, right? So go out there, make goals. What do you think your next goal is going to be? Okay, let me know about that in the comments, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for First Chapter Friday. Bye!